Good day and warm welcome to this meditation experience. Really lovely you can join. The other day, we had someone ask a question about resistance. It's actually connected to one of my favorite quotes from the Mahabharata Hindu epic, which is resist that which resists in you. I don't know if it's coming through with all my lisping, but resist that which resists in you. This is something that the oldest brother, who is so into doing the right thing, Dharma, Yudhishthira, is told, resist that which resists in you. I really love this idea. And I think anyone who's interested in self-transformation is going to get this. They know that resistance is going to happen. Resistance to change is always there. Now, in the fitness world, we actually have a form of training called resistance training. We actually go into it with our eyes open and embrace it. We don't say, oh, I don't want to do resistance training. We actually want to do resistance training. And the idea of this is that strength training, resistance training, strength is in fitness defined as having the power to overcome opposing forces. So in this case, it's ultimately gravity. We're simply enhancing the pull of gravity by lifting a weight. So there's more pull of gravity. So resistance training, the idea is you're trying to lift heavier and heavier weights, overcome more and more resistance with the understanding that you're building strength, endurance, and resilience. So that's the understanding, the concept, and we actually embrace it. We don't say, oh my gosh, it's such a heavy weight. I just can't do it. Oh, why is it there? Why is it there? Make it go away. It's actually, let me add it. Let me add it. And if we can't quite lift that heavy, then we go through progressions, but we maintain the objective. That is the concept of resistance training. Now, I think all of life turns into resistance training when you decide to embrace inner change. There'll be so much inner resistance, opposition to that change, even though it's a change that you feel is beneficial. I'll become a better person. It's odd that we would sabotage or resist ourselves, but as was said to Yudhishthira, resist that which resists in you. Go in there knowing it will be there and developing the power to override without a trace of violence. Let's see if we can do a little inner resistance training. Sitting comfortably, aware that as I sit here, the body is automatically engaging in resistance training. Gravity wants to completely pull the body down, so it's just lying there on the floor. But even to sit upright is an act of resistance training, resisting the pull of gravity to stay upright. I'm very aware of that now as I sit here. And I observe the body to see how it's doing it. How is it staying upright? Keeping the skeleton erect. And it's called strength. I can actually feel the core strength, the muscles around the spine, around the hips, around the shoulders, working. I'm usually not aware, but now I'm watching, I'm feeling, I'm observing. Automatically, these muscles are activating. to keep the spine, the architecture of the body intact. We all have that core strength physically. So now I go inside. What is the architecture of me, the spiritual being? It's not bones, but there is an ideal alignment for me to have as a human being. Some call it personal dignity. Some call it self-respect. Some call it honor of the self. This is the ideal alignment, architecture of me, the soul, that I'd like to move through the world with. It will create a state called happiness, free of pain. Just as when the body is in ideal alignment, it's happy, free of pain. When I, the soul, am in ideal alignment, that very elevated awareness, I'm happy, free of pain, as I move through the world acting and interacting. What's required to sustain that inner architecture, that elevated awareness, that sense that I am upright, royal, dignified? What's required? Just like the body, it will require strength, core strength, inner power. What is spiritual power? What is inner strength? I noticed how the body intuitively knew what that strength was to keep me seated. Maybe I also know intuitively what spiritual power is that will protect personal dignity, keep me spiritually upright, responding with grace. I become quiet and watch myself, I, the soul. What qualities support self-respect, that inner alignment? I become quiet and watch, seated in that very deep experience of knowing my own value. Very comfortable with the self, lots of trust in the self, experiencing the resilience of the self, that alignment. What qualities are supporting that alignment? I observe. What is the power that supports personal dignity? I observe, I feel what's going on. I can feel that personal dignity is supported by a lot of silence, a lot of very pure feelings, very mature feelings. There's no space for waste. Silence, pure, mature, peaceful feelings are core strength for the soul. These are just words, but I can feel the meaning, the experience of those words, the deep silence, very rich with truth, with contentment, with lightness, that silence, maturity, and depth that support the inner architecture of the self, feeling it very deeply, how those qualities keep me set on the seat of self-respect, personal dignity. When I look at the body, I'm aware that gravity is always trying to pull me out of alignment, whether it's slouching or drooping or falling over. It's always trying to pull, resist. So I always have to pay attention when I feel it going. I have to activate that strength to maintain the posture, the right architecture of the body. The same applies to me, the soul. I will constantly have to pay attention on activating those qualities inside. Maturity, the depth, the silence, the peace, the contentment, no waste, constantly activating those qualities of strength to maintain that inner architecture of the self until it becomes natural. They're constantly active, naturally. Then I'll no longer have to pay attention. That beautiful alignment will constantly be supported and intact. Even in the most extreme situations, I will be able to maintain the inner architecture, not be thrown off that seat of personal dignity. And so as I go through the day, let me keep checking in. Are those core muscles of the soul active? Is my architecture self-respect intact. I'll find myself looking more inwards than usual, less outwards than usual, starting to create that natural inner posture of personal dignity. Om Shanti. Thank you so much for joining.